All right, we back with another video, and today we got to talk about the economy. So apparently, the economy is not doing so hot, but I thought we already knew that. So the job reports just came out, and they're saying that we basically lost 23,000 jobs, and I guess this is the White House. They're going to go ahead and address it. I'm sure they're going to say that it's all fake. It's not real, but we'll go ahead and get into it and figure out what they got to say about this.
Here we go on the economy. Jobs number is out for July. Employers are cutting 23,000 jobs last night. That's well below the number we were expecting to add about 80,000. Unemployment rate did drop lower, 4.1%. Let's get a take on that now from the White House.
Now that part I don't quite understand it, and maybe somebody can help me out in the comments. I am trying to get well versed on my economics here, but how is it that the unemployment rate is falling lower, but people are losing jobs? Like those two things don't seem to make sense, but maybe somebody is an economist and can help me understand here in the comments.
Kevin Hassett, National Economic Council Director. Sir, good day to you, and thank you for
Yeah,
coming
thanks, Phil.
back here.
Great to be here, of
Just
course.
give me how do you read it? Strength, weakness. Go.
Yeah, so the strength is what we've seen before: construction workers, manufacturing workers, and so on.
Which he has kind of a point though, right? So like he mentions construction workers, but aren't we in the middle of like a data center boom? Like, isn't AI and like, didn't Trump literally like within a year just say that like $7 trillion worth of investment was heading here and more factories in our country's history was being built? There was so much talk of like what was happening. And to be quite honest, I feel like if you are a true American, you should have been excited about this no matter like which side of the aisle you were on, because people investing in America, other countries investing in America, hiring Americans, and allowing Americans to kind of continue to live the way that they live and raise the standard is a good thing. But it doesn't seem like all of that is coming into fruition, because at the end of the day, I mean, a data center is great for construction while it's being built for 2 years. After that, it's about 8 people in there. And I'm sure there's other ways that there are benefits, but I mean, it just seems like the data center build out has already stalled if it doesn't show up in the jobs reports, right?
The weakness in this number were really just two things: government workers and a sort of rebound from all the employment we got from the World Cup, because the World Cup was ending. And so if you throw out the World Cup and the government workers, we actually had a number that was about plus 100,000, which is about what we expected given.
Now, what does that mean? Like, if that's not spin, I don't really quite know what is. I mean, if you take out these other numbers, then the numbers look better. Well, aren't there, is those are those people not workers? I guess that's what I would ask. Because if there are workers and you take them out, basically just act like they don't exist. Well, I feel like we can make the numbers look quite well across the board in every occasion if that's what we're going to do. But these people do exist, and that's 100,000 people, whether the government hired them or fired them, that um, basically are without jobs. I mean, I don't know where they should be. I don't know if they should have those jobs there or not. But in general, it just seems like you can't just like pick and choose, what to include in the data and what not to kind of have it your way and spin it. And it's also like confusing for the American people. Like we want to follow stuff one track mind. We want to be able to understand what's going on. When you start doing pluses and minuses, come on now, man. The American education system ain't that good. Okay, we're doing the best we can. Okay, so let's just keep it straightforward. Plain English. We don't need to do no math.
The unemployment rate went down, and there's so many other factors like manufacturing booming, capital spending booming, real wages growing for the typical manufacturing worker, almost $4,000 since President Trump took office after adjusting for inflation. So there's all these strong numbers out there, and I think that we have to look through the special factors when we're trying to judge this number.
Okay. All right. Let's go.
Which is true. I mean, at least as far as I know, the tax cuts did lead to, let's just say, more. Uh, I don't want to say bigger tax refunds, but that's essentially what ended up happening. But again, like everything else costs more. Inflation has like continued to go up, and so like there's a lot of negatives and a lot of positives. But quite frankly, as big of as big as the talk was behind this administration, there should be a lot more being done. I mean, from healthcare to housing.
Go ahead and dive in first on artificial intelligence impact on jobs. Is it happening or is it overrated? Your view on that right now from this number.
Right. Well, what's happening right now is that we're seeing that firms that use AI are outperforming the competition and bringing in new jobs because their sales are going up so much. I think in the long run, there's a legitimate concern that AI might make it so that your job or my job is obsolete. And what we're doing at the White House is studying that matter very closely. We've had a large group.
Which is kind of ironic, right? Because they are the ones that ushered in this like data center apocalypse, basically. I mean, the Trump administration, for good or bad, has basically been, pedal to the metal business friendly. And so the idea that, like, if you ask me, and maybe you guys can let me know in the comments, like how AI has affected you in your workplace, if at all. But if you're actually looking at the technology, trying to understand it, I think you're going to do well. But in general, you can clearly see that the writing is on the wall and that jobs are cooked. And yes, he is right. The companies that use it will find that those people are so productive that ideas can be endless, but I still have a feeling that like that can only go so far because a company can only handle so much. And so all these ideas don't actually help. In fact, they probably just overwhelm the workforce. And so in the long term, we'll see how it plays out. But in general, it does seem that if you use AI, you're going to be more productive. And if you're going to be more productive, and I don't mean like 20 or 30% more productive, I mean like in some cases, people are being like 20 or 30 times more productive. Well, then there's going to be 20 or 30 times less need for those types of workers, depending on like how efficient some of these people become in these different ways of using AI. And so I don't know what to say to that other than like jobs are cooked. And I do want to know what you guys think about that because I mean, it's here to stay. It's not really going anywhere. And I'm not sure if what we hear on TV versus like what we experience in our real life, like how AI is actually affecting us. Like nobody actually has produced any type of real data on this.
Group of people together who are thinking about the long run labor force trends that are impacted by AI. But right now, what's going on is that as you see the booming stock market, because firms are booming because they're improving what they do with AI, and that's what the near term effect is.
Okay, is it taking jobs, Kevin?
I would disagree with that. I think the stock market is booming because they have a lot of circular finance going on. If you really take a look at the earnings reports of these companies, I mean, they are making a lot of money, don't get me wrong. But in general, they're also doing a lot of like backhand dealing where like the stock price or the warrants or the deal that was like consummated basically just means you're going to take the money I give you and give it right back to me. Like there's been so much of that that it's actually hard to really believe r- half the stuff that they're saying. And so like the only way to know like how this thing is going to play out is once it crashes. Because right now it's like these people are keeping themselves afloat and keeping other companies around it afloat by giving out like guarantees like government entities. That can't be good. Like in the long term, that just can't be good.
Not at this moment, no.
Okay. Participation, is that an issue of people dropping out as we went to 4.1%?
There's a little bit of participation weakness, but most of that really comes from two things. Thing one is that the baby boomers are retiring now. We're sort of in a demographic phase where there'll be less labor force participation, and that'll keep on going for a good long time. And what that means is that when you look at the jobs number, the top line payroll number, then what you need to make the unemployment rate not go up is a smaller and smaller number of jobs. Say 3 or 4 years ago, if we had a number below around 120 or 130,000, that meant the unemployment rate would go up. Right now, the break-even point for unemployment is about 40,000.
Which is really fascinating because it basically just means like the more and more people who don't participate, like stay at home folks, people in different situations, that's creating a false number because basically the unemployment rate is much higher. It's probably like 10 plus percent then because there's so many people who seems to like be able to live in America and not work. I don't know how that's possible. If anybody understands that, leave a comment to help me understand because I don't know how you can like be in America and not work.
because labor force participation is declining. And of course, the other thing is our tight border policy. So we don't have all these foreign illegal workers, stampeding into the economy, and that used to also show up as inflated job
Okay,
numbers.
whether you hear, okay, that to the side. West Texas now is pushing up about 77, has been bopping around throughout the week.
So yeah, looks like our economy is starting to like slow down, even though we supposed to have $7 trillion of investment and all of these different factories being built all around the country, which I can see that there's some type of activity. I mean, it's not happening. It's just not happening in quite the fashion that we were sold. And so to me, this seems like more par for the course. What was it? When Biden administration was done, they said the last year of revisions was like actually 1 million jobs were lost instead of gained. So, I mean, we can probably look forward to something similar happening by the end of this year. And so everything that he's saying, I'm sure he's going to have a reason why when they revise the numbers and it's actually we lost more jobs than we anticipated or that we were estimating or thinking. He's going to have some reasons why that is the case because he always does. So, um, appreciate y'all for listening to another video, and I'll see you guys